everyone, it's Jessie here. I am so glad to have you all back with me in this process. I know where we left off, I had the sun sculpt, but I had not finished his rays. Now I have finished his rays, as you will see me do in the first part of the video. Then in the middle part of the video, you will see me take this sculpt and out of it make this silicone mold. And from the silicone mold, I was able to make this resin urethane cast. So anyway, I consider it all a pretty successful project here. There are some things to improve on, which I'll tell you about in the video, but overall, really excited to show you how I got this done and how you can get it done too.
Okay, so here we have just the little face. I'm showing you how I made these rays, which I was hoping would be geometrically sort of accurate. Here I did a little Star of David to get 6 directions, and I did the rays within that direction. I also had just like a circle to kind of find out what distance was good. I ended up going a tiny bit past that. But you'll see how I made them even here in a moment. You see that gram scale? I had it down to like a microgram measurement, and I would take a ball of clay, measure it, get it to the right size so that when I ended up sculpting it into one of those little sections and kind of pinching it, they were all even. That was a little bit of a stroke of genius on my part. You'll also notice it's only 6 rays, not 7. Here I was just microwaving some clay to the bottom of my mold container. This made a smooth surface for me to put my sculpt on. I do recommend this because otherwise the silicone might get in under your cast or your casted object, in which case you would have way more silicone skin on the outside than I will in a moment. You'll see. Here I've already poured part A. I'm pouring in part B. With the part B, which is that bright pink stuff, shake the bottle well. I did not do that, and I don't think it ended up being too problematic, but it does say on the bottle, shake it well. Here's a fascinating little thing. Smooth On seems to recommend that we vacuum pressure the silicone to get rid of air bubbles, because air bubbles in your mold will mean you basically have all these little resin like bubbles in your final product, and you do not want that. So here we are trying that in a few different ways. If you see other hands, that is my father and my fiance helping me out. I clearly needed it. It was late at night at this point, and I was just trying to get this done. It was already starting to set, and that's why it didn't bubble up. My vacuum method was not very successful with the duct tape, so I don't necessarily recommend that. If you have a proper chamber, absolutely do it. Luckily, it turned out mostly okay for me anyways. I had very minimal bubbling, but just keep in mind those bubbles are a hassle. If you can vacuum pressure, by all means. You see that the silicone did seep in under the cast a little bit here, but I'm just trimming it away, and it doesn't really affect the final product. As long as you trim out like the absolute excess and you don't go above that point. So here I am finally with my cured silicone mold, which took about 24 hours total, by the way, to cure, and the pot life, which means how long you have to mix and pour, is 45 minutes before it sets. Now with the resin that I'm about to use, the pot life is only 3 minutes. It sets incredibly fast. It starts clear and then it turns white, and it looks really cool while it does it. I almost missed it here in this part. It sets really fast, so you gotta work fast. I'm using some universal mold release from Smooth On here. I really recommend it just to protect your mold. With the teeny tiny bit of bubbling that I did get, which is not much fortunately, you can tear those little open spots if you don't use mold release. It's not the end of the world. Silicone is extremely durable and flexible. You're not likely to encounter any issues. I mean, seriously, it can take a punch, but just, to be safe for the longevity of the mold itself, Smooth On recommends using a mold release. It's just a light misting. Here I am. I'm trying to put acrylic paint into one part of the resin, part A. so that it didn't start to set while I was trying to mix the color. What you kind of miss here from me speeding it up is it started to break apart in the resin. It truly did not work. So it's equal parts part A and part B. I just decided to move forward without the coloring. You want to pour it slow and you want to pour it at the lowest point, and then boom. Do you see how fast that happened? This is 8 times speed, but it was still incredibly quick. Here you'll see my little final piece. I'll show you a comparison near the end. He turned out great. However, I realized he's not level. That means one side is thicker than the other side. I kind of knew that as I was pouring it, but it started to set and there was really nothing I could do. So I'm gonna try again. So basically what I'm doing is I'm gonna weigh out approximately 2.5 grams of part A. Then I just wait until it shows up as 5 grams. So I know I have 2.5 grams of part B, again, equal parts. Here's the problem. I panicked and I knew I had to move fast and I didn't mix it, guys. You have to pre-mix both the silicone and the resin. You absolutely must mix it thoroughly before putting it in the mold. Now you can see it set there. It looks really cool. However, it's not going to set completely, much to my chagrin. I'm going back in. I'm saying, why is it so sticky? And then here, when I do the comparison, you can see that it's more even because I leveled it off with these little tongue dispensers underneath. But it was never going to fully cure, even though it otherwise would have been perfect. It's going to stay sticky on that one side because I didn't mix it thoroughly enough. So on the one hand, we have one that's uneven and has clay on it, but it turned out better. And then we have one that would have been perfect if it weren't for the fact that I didn't mix. But just showing you the unevenness on the one on the left, how you can see it came out better on the second one. I would have done a third right then and there, but I decided, I want that resin dye anyways. So that's what I'm going to do in the next video.
All right, so in conclusion, pretty awesome, pretty happy with the results. I came away with 3 lessons. One of them is that you definitely want to mix it very, very, very thoroughly if you're gonna get this nice smooth finish. My second one turned out like crap, and you saw that in the video. My other piece of advice would be to make sure you have resin dye specifically for that purpose. It will be more concentrated than acrylic paint. It would also be more liquidous, kind of like food coloring, so that you don't have the issue that you saw me have in the video. And also make your silicone mold very level. This one, it obviously is not completely level. It is higher on, you can see it here, this side than this side. That's just basically because of where I had set it as it was curing. No big deal. In the end, I can just put some things under it, but that's what I came away with. And next video, I'm going to be getting that resin dye, making that final cast, and then of course, painting it and sealing it. I think it's going to be great, and I'm excited to see you next week. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.